Hi, it's time for my weekly OEA update. I begin by thanking everyone who helped make Saturday's virtual representative assembly a great success. We got a lot of work done in a relatively short period of time, including electing some leaders. I want to say congratulations to Larry Ellis, DeWine Marshall, Tamika Moss, and Cheryl Williams, who were all elected to statewide positions over the weekend. It was a really good experience, and thanks to everybody who gave positive feedback on that as well. I want to shout out some locals for doing some great work, and I'm going to continue to do this each week. This week, I want to begin by giving a shout out to Karen Lloyd and the Indian Creek Education Association. They put together a program where they provided a recognition to their graduating seniors from ICEA, telling their graduating students how proud they are of them. And they got good media coverage in doing that as well, as they passed out signs for graduates. I want to recognize the folks in Northeastern Local in Clark County. They organized and persuaded their school board to unanimously reject a plan that was coming from the superintendent that would have required all school employees to come back to work in the buildings for several hours a day for the rest of the year. They knew that that wasn't in the best interest of the health and safety of their members, and they prevailed. Also prevailing, the Willoughby Eastlake Teachers Association, who persuaded their school board to say no to iSTEM charter school that wanted to set up shop in their district. And finally, I want to recognize the Columbus Education Association. They did a survey of their membership to put a spotlight on inequities and the fact that leaders have failed to provide adequate resources to meet the needs of their students. All of these locals continue to advocate, do great work for students and for educators. Continue to send me stories so I can recognize your local next week. As you know, we're continuing with discussions and planning for next year. I have been in ongoing conversations with the State Department of Education, along with people from the Department of Health and the Governor's Office, superintendents, school boards, other unions, other interested parties, on a guidance document that should be coming out very soon to help local school districts think about what are those issues that need to be in place if schools are going to open and how schools are going to open next year. We will continue to share information on that and answer your questions on our weekly Zoom calls with local leaders. Our next one is Wednesday, tomorrow at noon. Hope that you'll be able to join me and Jeff and Mark as we continue to do our best to answer your questions and give you all the support you need to be effective advocates for your members. One of the biggest challenges, as you know, is the fact that the governor just announced $465 million in budget cuts to K-12 and higher education. This comes at a terrible time as the need for resources has never been greater. We know that we have to continue to advocate at the state level to prioritize education, use the rainy day fund as necessary. But right now, number one priority is putting pressure on Congress to provide $175 billion in relief targeted to public education. This coming Thursday, I am going to be participating along with my fellow state president from Hawaii, as well as U.S. Senator Kamala Harris and Representative Jahana Hayes, who was a former National Teacher of the Year and now a Congresswoman from Connecticut, in a national day of action. We call it We Rise Together, grassroots call to action that is being hosted by NEA. I hope you will join me. I will provide registration information to everyone, but it takes place at 7 p.m. on Thursday evening, May 14th. We all need to put maximum pressure on our congressional delegation to make sure that we get that much needed relief for schools. And finally, I just want to mention that as we fight for resources, We know that the voucher issue continues to be a challenge. I want to recognize our friends with Real Choice Ohio, who are kicking off a series of workshops to help school districts confront the reality of EdChoice vouchers as we try to and work very hard to keep students in our public schools. That's all I have for this week. Thanks for all you do. Make it a good week.